Hi, Annette here from the NSAI Standards Division. Welcome to this presentation module Part 2A, Experts National Level, that is part of a series of standards information modules. Throughout the series, we'll be explaining how standards development happens, how you can become a standard expert, and what is required if you do get involved. Next slide. This module 2A of the series will provide the following learning outcomes: registering for a committee and providing an overview of standards and their benefits, NSAI's relationship with standards organizations and the differences in our memberships. You will learn about committee roles and responsibilities, as well as specific roles of the Secretariat and Chair, the responsibilities you will have as a committee member, and finally, and most importantly, you will be shown how you can get actively involved, where to find guidance documents, and how to access committee documents. Next slide. First, let's look at how to get started. If you'd like to join a standards committee, please fill out our online application form available on the NSAI website. Once registered, you should receive an email informing you that your account has been created. If not, please check your spam folder or contact NSAI and we will assist you. Next slide. Standardization is a voluntary cooperation among industry, consumers, public authorities, researchers, and other interested parties for the development of technical specifications based on consensus. Next slide. Here we look at the benefits of standards and why would you use them. Standards assist by eliminating technical barriers to trade. They can promote interoperability of products, and they can promote the spread of new technologies. Being a member of the European Union means that one standard can be used across all the member states. That has been very beneficial in terms of trade for Ireland, and has been at the foundation of the European regulations. Standards increase the safety of products and can help protect the consumer, health, and the environment. They can assist in determining whether a product is faulty and if the manufacturer is liable for damages. Next slide. There are three main international bodies that develop standards: ISO, which is the International Organization for Standardization. They produce technical standards for services, health, energy, healthcare, food, etc. IEC is the International Electrotechnical Commission, and they produce standards for electrical safety and compatibility standards. ITU is the International Telecommunication Union, and they produce standards for electronic communications. Next slide. Similarly, at a European level, we have CEN, the European Committee for Standardization. It would be the equivalent to ISO at a European level and develop technical standards. Then there is CENELEC, the European Committee for Electrotechnical Standardization, being the European equivalent of IEC. It develops standards for electrical safety and compatibility. Finally, we come to ETSI, European Telecommunication Standards Institute, that is the European equivalent of the ITU, looking at telecommunication standards for electronic communication. ETSI is involved in other standardization activities apart from telecommunications, such as artificial intelligence and smart manufacturing, participating in standardization focus groups on these topics. Next slide. Here we will explain the membership NSAI has when taking part with ISO and IEC. Any of the ISO and IEC members can choose whether they want to be part of a particular technical committee and their level of involvement. O members can observe the standards that are being developed, offering comments, and can attend meetings if they wish, but only as observers. P members actively participate in the work of the committee by having experts involved in working groups and attending meetings. There is an obligation on NSAI to actively vote on all technical committee ballots when listed as a P member. The rules or directives that each international organization has for developing standards sets out the voting requirements for a successful ballot and how O and P members' votes are considered. Next slide. There is an obligation on P members to vote on documents formally submitted for voting within technical committee or subcommittee. Failure for NSAI to vote shall without exception have consequences, such as automatically having its status changed to that of O member. Further details on these membership criteria will be provided by NSAI as part of formal committee member training. Next slide. As a committee member, you are expected to advise and assist NSAI on the technical content of standards. Members are expected to prepare for and attend meetings and provide comments and submissions on active projects being developed. Members participating in regional or international committees and, when requested, should provide reports on those meetings. Members are required to meet consensus when it comes to deciding on the national position. Next slide. Members should be aware that records of NSAI committees shall be subject to disclosure under the Freedom of Information Act, and that membership shall be disclosed, for example in the NSAI annual reports. Members shall not communicate with the media on matters concerning the internal affairs of a committee without express permission from NSAI. Next slide. The Secretariat of a technical committee is generally provided by NSAI, and they manage the day-to-day operations for national committees. The Secretariat is responsible for organizing meetings, publishing agenda, meeting reports, keeping track of ballots, and obtaining documents the committee needs. The Secretary offers support to committee members regarding rules and procedures for standard development and providing information and training for experts participating at the international level. The Secretary liaises with the Chair, as necessary, to manage committee work and membership. Next slide. NSAI reserves the right to appoint the Chair of a committee. The Chair of a committee shall work together with the Secretary of the committee in carrying out their duty, conduct meetings with a view to reaching consensus and ensure all stakeholders involved have had the opportunity to contribute, monitor the status of all projects in their committee, ensure project work is carried out in a timely manner. Next slide. It is important to be an effective committee member. This is achieved by reading documents circulated to the committee, circulating new work proposals and drafts to your nominating organization so they can comment, submitting comments to the committee secretary, attending meetings, and participating in the consensus building process. Next slide. You will receive communications relating to the committee you have joined, and here is an example of an email you will receive. This occurs when a new document is added to the system at either national or international level. It can include notice of meetings, voting reports, draft standards, and voting documents. From this you can see the 1. Source committee, 2. The title of the document, and 3. If there is any action required. 4. You can access the document from the link in the email, but a login that NSAI provide is required. Next slide. Here we have a ballot notification. 1. With the deadline date shown. 2. You can again access the document from the link in the email, but a login that NSAI provide is required. If there is a voting deadline, then you will also receive a reminder 1 week before the deadline. Next slide. This slide highlights guidance documents that you will find useful in carrying out your committee member work. Contact NSAI by emailing standards@nsai.ie or your Standards Development contact to request links to these guides. Next slide. NSAI uses a platform called LiveLink as the online document storage and access portal. This is an example of the NSAI portal and the committee homepage, where you will find all the information you need with regards to the committee, from ballots, recently posted documents, work items currently reviewed, etc. 1. Meeting documents. You'll find agendas and meeting minutes from previous meetings. 2. Open ballots for you to review and vote on. 3. Projects. In this folder you will find what the committee is currently working on. For more information on using the LiveLink portal, please see user guides provided by NSAI to search for international documents. Next slide. Thank you for your attention. For more information on standards and for other modules on standardization, please see our Learning Centre on nsai.ie.